Welcome back to True Crime Documentary YouTube channel. Have you ever wondered how well you really know your neighbors? What secrets could be hiding just beyond those picket fences? Today, we're diving deep into the kind of story that leaves even the most tight-knit communities shaken. A tale of deception, obsession, and a love affair gone horribly wrong. This is the chilling case of Emily Harper, a suburban mother whose affair with a younger neighbor spiraled into a shocking murder, tearing apart the quiet town of Meadowbrook, Wyoming. It's March 2018 in Meadowbrook, Wyoming, a place that looks like it was plucked from a postcard. Nestled just outside of Casper, Meadowbrook is the kind of suburban paradise many people dream of. Perfect lawns, tree-lined streets, friendly neighbors waving as they walk their dogs. It's the kind of place where nothing bad is supposed to happen. In the heart of this community was Emily Harper, a 45-year-old stay-at-home mom who was loved by everyone who knew her. Emily wasn't just part of the community, she was the community. She organized PTA events at the local school, volunteered at church, and was a regular at every neighborhood function. If someone needed help, Emily was the first to step up. She had a friendly smile, a warm heart, and a reputation for being there for anyone who needed her. But while Emily was busy being the perfect suburban mom, no one knew that behind her bright smile was a woman struggling with loneliness. No one knew that Emily had a secret that would shatter the lives of everyone around her. Emily Harper was married to David Harper, a successful corporate lawyer. On paper, they had the perfect life: a beautiful home, 2 great kids, and financial security. But as many of us know, appearances can be deceiving. David's demanding job often kept him away from home, leaving Emily to handle everything on her own, raising their 2 children, Sophie and Ellie, keeping up the house, and maintaining a busy social calendar. David and Emily's marriage had once been filled with love and passion, but over the years, that love had faded. David's career as a high-powered lawyer meant late nights and business trips, and slowly, the distance between them grew. Emily often felt like she was living in a house full of people, but was completely alone. Despite her busy life in Meadowbrook, Emily felt trapped in her marriage. She had dreams of becoming a teacher, but those dreams were put on hold when she married David and dedicated herself to raising their children. Over time, she began to feel like her life was passing her by. She was a mother, a wife, a volunteer. But who was she, really? Was this the life she was meant to live? Emily craved something more, something exciting, something that made her feel alive again. And it was in this state of emotional vulnerability that Emily's life took a dark turn. Ryan Wallace was the 18-year-old son of one of Emily's neighbors. He had just graduated from high school and was planning to go to college to study engineering. Ryan was well known in the neighborhood for being friendly, handsome, and charismatic. To his neighbors, he was the perfect boy next door. But behind Ryan's charming exterior was a young man looking for something, or someone, more. He, too, felt a sense of isolation in the picture-perfect world of Meadowbrook. And when his path crossed with Emily Harper, sparks flew. What started as innocent conversations soon turned into something much more. Ryan was captivated by Emily's beauty and maturity, while Emily found herself drawn to Ryan's youthful energy and the way he made her feel seen, something she hadn't felt in years. Their relationship quickly escalated from friendly chats to a full-blown affair. Whenever David was out of town on business, Ryan would sneak over to Emily's house. The thrill of secrecy, the adrenaline of sneaking around, it was intoxicating for both of them. For Ryan, it wasn't just about the excitement. He had fallen deeply in love with Emily. For Emily, the affair filled the void that had been growing inside her for years. Ryan gave her the attention and passion that her marriage lacked. But even as the affair consumed her, Emily knew deep down that it couldn't last. As the weeks turned into months, Emily began to feel the weight of her guilt. She was a mother, a wife, a respected member of her community, and yet she was hiding this dark secret. She wrote in her private journal about the affair, confessing her feelings of excitement, guilt, and fear. She knew that what she was doing was wrong, but the affair had become an addiction she couldn't easily break away from. Ryan, on the other hand, was becoming more and more possessive. He didn't just see the affair as a fling. He was obsessed with Emily. He wanted her all to himself, and the idea of her being with her husband drove him mad. He would text her constantly, demand her attention, and become upset if she didn't respond quickly enough. As Emily's feelings of guilt grew, she started to pull away from Ryan. She began to distance herself, trying to focus on her family and her responsibilities. But Ryan wouldn't let her go that easily. He was in love, and he wasn't willing to lose her. By early March 2018, Emily had made a decision. She had to end the affair. She couldn't keep living a double life, and she knew that breaking things off with Ryan was the only way to move forward. But what she didn't know was that Ryan was spiraling out of control, and breaking up with him would be far more dangerous than she could ever imagine. The tragic day, March 21st, 2018. It was a quiet Wednesday morning in Meadowbrook. David Harper had returned home early from a business trip, eager to surprise his wife. He'd been in Denver for a high-profile meeting and decided to take an early flight back. When he walked into the house, he expected to find Emily preparing breakfast, or maybe working on one of her many community projects. But what he found was something out of a nightmare. The house was unusually silent. No sounds of morning routines, no smells of coffee or breakfast. David called out for Emily, but there was no answer. And then, as he walked into the kitchen, he saw her. Emily was lying on the floor in a pool of blood. Her body was cold, lifeless. The kitchen was in disarray, broken dishes, blood smeared on the walls. Emily had been brutally attacked, shot and stabbed multiple times. But the most chilling detail? The number 142 was carved into her stomach, a grotesque and horrifying message left by her killer. David collapsed to the ground, screaming for help. He dialed 911, his voice trembling as he begged for someone to come. "She's gone," he repeated over and over. "She's gone." When police arrived at the Harper house, they were stunned by the brutality of the crime. The first officer on the scene, Officer Murphy, immediately called for backup. This was no random act of violence. The scene was chaotic, violent, and deeply personal. Detectives Jane Morgan and Ethan Price were assigned to the case, and from the beginning, they knew this wasn't going to be easy. There were no signs of forced entry, meaning that Emily had likely known her attacker. The number carved into her body suggested that this was a crime fueled by emotion. Someone had wanted to send a message. The first person they questioned was David. After all, in cases like these, the spouse is often the prime suspect. But David had an alibi. He'd been in Denver on business, and his flight records confirmed his story. David was devastated by Emily's death, and detectives quickly realized that he wasn't involved. As they dug deeper into Emily's personal life, they uncovered something that shocked them: a hidden journal. In this journal, Emily had written about her affair with Ryan Wallace. She described her conflicted feelings, her guilt, and most importantly, her decision to end the affair just days before her death. This discovery changed everything. Ryan Wallace was brought in for questioning. At first, he denied any involvement in Emily's murder. Yes, he admitted to the affair, but he claimed that he had nothing to do with her death. He insisted that he loved Emily and would never hurt her. But detectives weren't convinced. Ryan's alibi for the night of the murder was weak. He claimed to have been at home playing video games, but there was no one to corroborate his story. As the detectives pressed him further, Ryan's calm facade began to crack. A search of Ryan's home revealed more damning evidence. Explicit love letters from Emily, personal photos, and items that confirmed his deep obsession with her. And then, detectives confronted Ryan with Emily's journal. Faced with the reality that Emily had planned to break up with him, Ryan finally broke down. In a tearful confession, he admitted to what really happened on the night of March 20th, 2018. Ryan had gone to the Harper house that evening, knowing that David was away. He expected Emily to welcome him as she had so many times before. But that night was different. Emily let him in, but her demeanor was cold. She told Ryan that it was over. She wanted to end the relationship and focus on her family. Ryan couldn't handle it. The rejection, the thought of losing her. It was too much. In a fit of uncontrollable rage, he attacked her. He grabbed a knife from the kitchen and stabbed her multiple times. Then, in a final act of violence, he shot her. The number 142 carved into her body. A senseless, violent act meant to leave his mark on her forever. Ryan was arrested and charged with first-degree murder. The trial began in July 2018, and the courtroom was packed with members of the Meadowbrook community, all trying to make sense of the horrific crime. The prosecution painted Ryan as a young man consumed by obsession. When Emily tried to break off the affair, he snapped, and his possessiveness drove him to murder. They presented the journal, the confession, and the physical evidence found in Ryan's home. Ryan's defense team argued that his undiagnosed bipolar disorder had played a significant role in the crime. They claimed that his mental illness, combined with Emily's rejection, had caused him to lose control in the heat of the moment. But in the end, the jury saw it differently. On August 12, 2018, Ryan Wallace was found guilty of first-degree murder. He was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. The trial brought some closure to Emily's family, but the scars of her murder would never fully heal. Her husband David and their children Sophie and Ellie were left to pick up the pieces of their shattered lives. Meadowbrook, once a peaceful and close-knit community, was forever changed by the tragedy. As for Ryan, he now serves his life sentence in prison, receiving treatment for his bipolar disorder. He has expressed remorse for his actions, but nothing can undo the damage he caused. The once bright and promising young man is now behind bars, a prisoner of his own obsession. In the end, the story of Emily Harper is a tragic reminder that even the most idyllic communities can harbor dark secrets. Behind closed doors, we never truly know what struggles people are facing or what decisions they'll make in moments of desperation. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe. Be sure to check out our other videos for more captivating stories. Take care, and we'll see you in the next one.